The next stage then in our study of area and perimeter is to look over two more shapes, a triangle and another quadrilateral called a parallelogram. Now, a parallelogram is very similar to a rectangle. In fact, if you think about it, a parallelogram is just a slightly pushed over rectangle. If we do our lines down here at a right angle, and then come out exactly the same distance as this triangle, that would be the equivalent area of your parallelogram. And I'll come to that in a second. Now, parallelograms, like rectangles, have two sets of equal sides, and both of those sides are parallel to each other. So we can write our arrows down on there. Now, when we intersect a parallelogram, and we go across into the diagonals there, we have two sets of opposite angles. So these two angles are equal to each other, and these two angles are equal to each other as well. The last thing we can do is that these will then be the same length. All right, so that's the physical characteristics of a parallelogram. Now, to work out the area, we need to go back to this idea that if we straightened the parallelogram, it would equal a rectangle. So what we do here, to measure the area, we do the base times the height. So your base is from your perpendicular line up here to the corner. All right, that's your base. Your height. So you do base times height, and your height is up from a right angle perpendicular to the base up to the corner there. Your base is your whole length along here. All right, so that's your base. So area is equal to the base, this measurement, times the height, this measurement up here. So let's do an example. So we've got a parallelogram with these dimensions. Let's have it 8 centimeters at the base, and then we've been drawn a right angle here, and we've been told that's 7 centimeters. So area is equal to the base, 8, times the height, 7. So that's 56 centimeters squared. Remember, your units need to be in a squared there. So that's how we approach a parallelogram. Now, to work out the perimeter for a parallelogram, again, you will do the same as a rectangle. It would be 2 times the lengths and 2 times the widths. So the perimeter equation would stay the same there. For a triangle, we work out the area very similar way to we work out the rectangle. Again, if we filled in the space around a triangle so that it would look like this, the area of this empty space combined would equal the area of the filled space of the triangle. And this will form a rectangle in whatever triangle you come across. If you fill in the space there around that triangle into a rectangle, the equivalent of this filled space will be in the empty space. So what we do is we use this construct of a rectangle to help us work out the area of a triangle. And we know that the filled space of the triangle will always take up half the space of the rectangle. So the area of a triangle is equal to half V times H, or you can do the base times the height over 2. So you can set it out in either one of those ways, whichever makes more sense to you. Let's use this bottom one for an example. So let's say our triangle was 3 centimeters. Let's do one down here. Slightly more difficult shape. So we've got, again, this height measurement like we had in here. So our height's going to be 3 centimeters, and our base is going to be 8 centimeters. So we know that this is our area equation. Area then is going to equal 3 times 8 over 2. So 3 times 8 is 24 over 2, 12 centimeters squared. So that's how to work out the area for a triangle and for a parallelogram.